The assassination of John F. Kennedy has spawned numerous theories, ranging from the official Warren Commission conclusion of a lone gunman to elaborate conspiracies involving the CIA, Mafia, or foreign governments. The newly released JFK files, ordered by President Donald Trump, have unveiled details about CIA surveillance in Mexico City, where Lee Harvey Oswald visited before the assassination, adding layers to the mystery without providing definitive answers. These files, comprising millions of pages, deepen our understanding of the historical context and investigations, yet experts anticipate no smoking gun to resolve the debates conclusively. The Warren Commission concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in assassinating President Kennedy, firing 3 shots from the Texas School Book Depository. The report detailed that one bullet missed, another struck both Kennedy and Governor John Connally, known as the single bullet theory, and the third was the fatal shot. Despite its thorough investigation, the report faced immediate skepticism and has been a focal point for conspiracy theories ever since its publication in 1964. To support its lone gunman conclusion, the Warren Commission presented evidence including ballistic tests linking the bullets to Oswald's rifle, eyewitness accounts placing him at the scene, and forensic evidence like his palm print on the rifle. The commission also analyzed the Zapruder film, which captured the assassination, to determine the timing and trajectory of the shots. Oswald's subsequent actions, such as killing Officer J.D. Tippit and attempting to flee, were cited as further proof of his guilt. Critics immediately challenged the Warren Commission for its reliance on the single bullet theory, which many found implausible, and for allegedly ignoring evidence of multiple shooters. Over time, the commission's methodology was questioned, particularly its dependence on FBI investigations and the omission of certain testimonies suggesting a conspiracy. The assassination of Oswald by Jack Ruby before he could stand trial further fueled suspicions of a cover-up, leading to enduring public distrust. Lee Harvey Oswald's background as a former Marine with ties to the Soviet Union and pro-Castro activities was highlighted to establish his motive and capability. His purchase of the rifle used in the shooting, employment at the Texas School Book Depository, and actions immediately after the assassination, like fleeing the scene and resisting arrest, were presented as evidence of his sole involvement. The commission also noted his history of mental instability and previous attempts to defect, painting a portrait of a disturbed individual acting alone. The magic bullet theory posits that a single bullet caused multiple wounds to both Kennedy and Connally, a crucial element in the Warren Commission's conclusion that only 3 shots were fired. Critics argue that the bullet's path and relatively intact condition are highly unlikely, suggesting instead that more than one shooter was involved. This theory remains a contentious point, symbolizing the broader debate over the assassination's true nature. Prominent conspiracy theories include the involvement of the CIA, motivated by Kennedy's handling of the Bay of Pigs invasion, or the Mafia, angered by his administration's crackdown on organized crime. Other theories suggest foreign governments like Cuba or the Soviet Union were behind the assassination as retaliation for Cold War actions. The idea of multiple shooters, particularly from the grassy knoll, persists, fueled by witness testimonies and the Zapruder film showing Kennedy's head moving backward. Evidence suggesting multiple shooters includes witness accounts of shots from the grassy knoll and the Zapruder film depicting Kennedy's head snapping backward, implying a shot from the front. Acoustic analyses conducted for the House Select Committee on Assassinations in the 1970s indicated a high probability of a 4th shot from the knoll, though this finding has been disputed. Additionally, some medical personnel at Parkland Hospital reported wounds inconsistent with shots solely from behind. The grassy knoll in Dealey Plaza is central to theories of a second shooter, with witnesses reporting seeing smoke or a puff of smoke from that area during the shooting. Some also claim to have seen a man with a rifle or suspicious activity on the knoll, though no concrete evidence has emerged. The knoll's significance lies in its potential to challenge the official narrative, making it a focal point for researchers and theorists alike. Alleged identities of potential second or third gunmen include the 3 tramps arrested near Dealey Plaza, later identified as actual hobos, and confessed hitman James Files, though his claims lack substantiation. Other theories implicate CIA operatives or mafia figures, but these remain speculative without solid evidence. The search for a second gunman continues to captivate, symbolizing the enduring quest for truth in the assassination's narrative. Theories proposing CIA involvement in the assassination of John F. Kennedy suggest that the agency masterminded the plot, driven by fury over Kennedy's refusal to fully back the Bay of Pigs invasion. Some speculate that rogue CIA officials, fearing his plans to curb their power, turned their covert expertise against the president they swore to protect. The newly released JFK files revealing CIA surveillance of Lee Harvey Oswald in Mexico City only intensify these suspicions, hinting at a shadowy hand pulling the strings. Potential motives for the CIA to assassinate President Kennedy stem from his disastrous handling of the Bay of Pigs, leaving the agency humiliated after he withheld air support. Whispers of Kennedy's intent to withdraw from Vietnam and dismantle the CIA's unchecked influence painted him as a threat to national security in the eyes of hardline operatives. This betrayal, coupled with the agency's known history of plotting against foreign leaders like Fidel Castro, fuels theories of a domestic coup. Circumstantial evidence for CIA involvement includes their tracking of Lee Harvey Oswald in Mexico City, meeting Soviet and Cuban officials, as uncovered in the JFK files. Theorists point to destroyed documents and withheld testimonies from the Warren Commission as signs of a deliberate cover-up orchestrated by the agency. While no direct proof exists, the mysterious deaths of key witnesses and the CIA's own dark past keep the conspiracy flames burning bright. Theories linking the mafia to the JFK assassination paint organized crime as a vengeful force, striking back at Kennedy for his administration's relentless war on their empire. Connections between Lee Harvey Oswald and Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner with deep mafia ties, suggest a sinister collaboration that silenced Oswald before he could talk. The mafia's knack for political hits and their rage over lost Cuban profits make them prime suspects in this deadly intrigue. Potential motives for the mafia to kill President Kennedy boil down to revenge against his brother, Attorney General Robert Kennedy, who aggressively targeted mob bosses like Sam Giancana. The failed Bay of Pigs invasion also stoked their anger, as it dashed hopes of reclaiming lucrative casinos in Havana from Fidel Castro. Some even whisper that the mafia acted as hired guns for the CIA, blending their underworld muscle with high-level conspiracy. Connections suggesting mafia involvement hinge on Jack Ruby's ties to crime figures like Carlos Marcello, alongside informant tales of mobsters boasting about the hit. Later claims by confessed hitman James Files, though unproven, add a chilling layer to the story of organized crime's reach into Dealey Plaza. The mafia's ability to eliminate witnesses and sway investigations keeps their shadowy role in Kennedy's death a tantalizing possibility. Theories involving anti-Castro Cuban exiles cast these betrayed warriors as assassins seeking retribution for Kennedy's half-hearted support during the Bay of Pigs fiasco. Trained by the CIA and armed with a burning hatred for both Castro and Kennedy's perceived softness on communism, they emerge as fierce players in the conspiracy web. Their presence in New Orleans alongside Lee Harvey Oswald sparks speculation of a revenge plot hatched in exile. Potential motives for Cuban exiles to assassinate President Kennedy include their outrage over the Bay of Pigs failure and his Cuban Missile Crisis deal that spared Cuba from invasion. They saw Kennedy's policies as a betrayal that cemented Castro's rule, crushing their dreams of returning home victorious. This deep-seated resentment, paired with their military skills, positions them as plausible avengers in the Dallas shadows. Evidence pointing to Cuban exiles includes alleged sightings of exiles with Lee Harvey Oswald in New Orleans, backed by testimony from Marita Lorenz claiming she saw them plotting with CIA agents. The JFK files detail the CIA's arming of these exiles, though no smoking gun ties them directly to November 22, 1963. Their documented bitterness and proximity to key players keep their role in the assassination a haunting question mark. The newly released JFK files unveil the CIA's close watch on Lee Harvey Oswald in Mexico City, raising chilling questions about what they knew and ignored before the fatal shots rang out. They also expose the FBI's destruction of an Oswald note, possibly a veiled threat, hinting at a scramble to bury inconvenient truths. While these revelations deepen the enigma of John F. Kennedy's death, they leave conspiracy lovers hungry for the elusive proof that could rewrite history. The newly released JFK files contain a wealth of previously classified documents, including CIA surveillance reports, FBI memos, and transcripts of witness interviews. These files, declassified after decades of secrecy, offer a glimpse into the murky world of intelligence operations during one of America's darkest chapters. While they don't provide a definitive answer to who killed Kennedy, they expose the extent of government surveillance and the tangled web of investigations that followed. The files shed new light on Lee Harvey Oswald's enigmatic life, revealing details about his defection to the Soviet Union and his connections to pro-Castro groups. They also highlight his desperate attempts to secure visas for Cuba and the Soviet Union shortly before the assassination, fueling speculation about his true intentions. These revelations raise the question of whether Oswald was a lone actor or part of a larger, more sinister plot. Oswald's trip to Mexico City in September 1963 is a key focus, and the JFK files confirm that he visited the Cuban and Soviet embassies while under CIA surveillance. Astonishing gaps in the surveillance, documented in the files, feed theories of secret meetings with foreign agents who might have influenced his actions. This mysterious journey remains a central puzzle piece that keeps conspiracy enthusiasts on edge. The files reveal Oswald's intense contacts with Soviet officials, including letters to the embassy in Washington where he planned his return to the Soviet Union. During his time in Minsk and even after returning to the U.S., these connections show a fascination with communist ideals, though no clear evidence ties him to acting on their behalf. These disclosures thicken the plot, suggesting foreign powers might have shaped his mindset, if not his trigger finger. The JFK files expose the FBI's frantic efforts to piece together the assassination puzzle, revealing internal memos that question the Warren Commission's lone gunman theory. They document the Bureau's surveillance of Oswald before the assassination, raising eyebrows about why they didn't act on his erratic behavior. The files also highlight the destruction of a note Oswald left at the FBI office days before the shooting, hinting at a cover-up to protect the Bureau's reputation. J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI's iron-fisted director, expressed deep concerns about the public skepticism toward the official narrative, fearing it could undermine trust in government. In memos found in the JFK files, he urged agents to convince the public that Oswald acted alone, revealing a desperation to control the story. Hoover's obsession with shaping the investigation's outcome adds a layer of intrigue to the already murky waters of the case. Witness interviews in the JFK files uncover startling inconsistencies, with some claiming to have seen a second shooter or heard shots from the grassy knoll. Others, like the Umbrella Man, whose bizarre presence at the scene sparked wild theories, later explained their actions in mundane terms, yet doubts linger. These conflicting accounts, buried for years, reignite debates over whether the truth was ever fully told. Previously classified CIA documents in the JFK files reveal the agency's extensive monitoring of Lee Harvey Oswald, including his Mexico City escapades. They also expose the CIA's frantic internal discussions post-assassination, with some officials questioning if their own operations had inadvertently set the stage for Kennedy's death. These revelations, while not proving a conspiracy, paint a picture of an agency caught in a web of its own making. Evidence in the JFK files suggests the CIA might have had prior knowledge of a potential threat to Kennedy, including vague warnings from informants about plots brewing in anti-Castro circles. Yet, these leads were either ignored or buried, raising chilling questions about whether the agency could have prevented the tragedy. The files stop short of confirming a direct threat, but the whispers of foreknowledge keep the conspiracy fires burning. Post-assassination, the CIA's actions, as revealed in the JFK files, show a scramble to distance the agency from any connection to Oswald or the events in Dallas. Internal memos discuss the need to sanitize records and deflect blame onto the FBI for failing to stop Oswald. These frantic efforts to control the narrative suggest an agency more concerned with self-preservation than uncovering the truth, leaving a trail of suspicion that endures to this day. Despite decades of investigation and the release of new JFK files, significant questions and mysteries persist, such as whether Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, or if a broader conspiracy involving shadowy figures orchestrated the assassination. The newly declassified documents reveal tantalizing details, like conflicting surveillance records and cryptic agency memos, but fail to resolve core enigmas, instead deepening the intrigue with fresh inconsistencies. These lingering uncertainties keep the killing of John F. Kennedy a haunting riddle that refuses to be solved. Certain bullet fragments from the assassination remain unaccounted for, with some never recovered from the scene or the victims, sparking questions about how many shots truly rang out in Dealey Plaza. This absence is significant because it challenges the official tally of 3 shots, suggesting the possibility of additional gunfire that could point to multiple shooters. Conspiracy theorists seize on this gap, arguing it's a deliberate omission to hide a more complex and sinister truth. The presidential limousine bears strange marks of damage, like a cracked windshield and bullet holes in puzzling locations, that hint at shots fired from angles beyond the Texas School Book Depository. These oddities clash with the official narrative, leading some to speculate that the vehicle itself silently testifies to a barrage from multiple directions. The JFK files offer no clear explanation, leaving this mangled relic as a cryptic clue in the assassination saga. Doctors at Parkland Hospital who raced to save Kennedy described shocking wounds, including a gaping hole in the back of his head that they believed was an exit wound, suggesting a shot from the front. Their urgent testimonies, buried for years, contrast sharply with later official reports, igniting theories of evidence tampering or a second gunman lurking ahead of the motorcade. These initial medical accounts, now spotlighted in the JFK files, add a dramatic twist to the enduring mystery. The entry and exit wounds on Kennedy tell a conflicting tale, with Parkland doctors noting a massive rear head wound, while the autopsy later claimed a smaller exit at the top, aligning with a shot from behind. This stark discrepancy has fueled fierce debates, with some insisting the body was altered to fit the lone gunman story pushed by the Warren Commission. The JFK files amplify this tension, offering no resolution but plenty of fodder for conspiracy speculation. An eerie number of witnesses tied to the assassination met untimely ends in the years that followed, with deaths ranging from car crashes to sudden heart attacks raising eyebrows among theorists. While skeptics dismiss many as coincidence, the sheer volume, over 100 by some counts, suggests to others a ruthless campaign to silence those who saw too much. The JFK files note these incidents, turning a statistical anomaly into a chilling thread of the cover-up narrative. Among the most suspicious losses is Dorothy Kilgallen, a bold journalist who boasted of a scoop that could blow the case wide open, only to die of an overdose officially ruled suicide, a verdict many reject as murder. Then there's Lee Bowers, a railway worker with a clear view of the grassy knoll, killed in a mysterious car wreck after reporting odd activity that day. These high-profile deaths, detailed in the JFK files, cast long shadows over the official story, hinting at a deadly cleanup operation. The photographs and films from Dealey Plaza, including shadowy stills and grainy reels, have sparked endless controversy, with analysts claiming they reveal extra shooters or tampered frames. The JFK files unearth witness accounts of lost footage and doctored images, feeding theories that the visual record was manipulated to obscure the truth. These haunting snapshots remain a battleground where every shadow and blur fuels the clash between fact and conspiracy. The Zapruder film, a visceral chronicle of Kennedy's final moments, ignites fierce debate over the head snap, lurching backward in a way some say proves a frontal shot, and the precise timing of the gunfire. Experts dissecting the film, bolstered by JFK files acoustic data, argue over whether frames were cut or altered to bury evidence of a second gunman. This shaky, silent reel keeps the assassination alive in the public mind, a puzzle piece that defies a tidy solution. Despite a swirl of theories, from CIA revenge to mafia hits, no definitive motive for Kennedy's murder has ever been nailed down, leaving the why as elusive as the who. The JFK files toss out tantalizing hints, like Oswald's communist leanings or anti-Castro plots, but nothing sticks as the final word, letting wild speculations run rampant. This void at the heart of the case ensures the assassination remains a dark, open wound in history, ripe for endless theorizing. While the JFK files have peeled back layers of secrecy, a stash of classified documents still lurks in government vaults, possibly hiding jaw-dropping revelations about covert operations or foreign hands in the Kennedy assassination. These unreleased papers, guarded under the banner of national security, tease conspiracy lovers with the chance they hold proof of rogue spies or secret pacts that could rewrite the chaos of November 22, 1963. Imagine the uproar if these files finally spill their guts, exposing a truth wilder than the darkest theories yet dreamed up. Over time, public faith in the Warren Commission's lone gunman tale has crumbled, with each drop of JFK files stirring a stronger brew of doubt as people spot oddities, like missing bullets or sketchy witness deaths, that scream cover-up. Once, most bought the official line, but now, fueled by declassified twists and a flood of conspiracy chatter, polls show most Americans bet on a hidden plot behind Kennedy's death. This shift isn't just curiosity. It's a full-on rebellion against the idea that we've been told the whole story, growing fiercer with every cryptic file that hits the light. The JFK assassination didn't just kill a president. It cracked America's trust wide open, birthing a legacy of suspicion that's tangled up political talk ever since, with conspiracy theories now a go-to lens for decoding power. From the grassy knoll to whispers of CIA schemes, the unending quest for answers has turned citizens into detectives, forever wary of what's fed to them by the top brass. This saga's mark on society is a restless demand for truth, making Kennedy's death not just history, but a living spark for challenging the shadows that rule us.